Children of the Cosmos, Prologue 1-4. At this point in reality, the children of the cosmos were no longer the cosmic, primordial maggots that hatched within the universal womb, for the Nine had shed their former identities and recreated themselves with the endless inspiration of their new, fractured cosmos. Anivar, the cosmic pillar. Slurma, the crimson queen. Resh Skeres, the unfettered shadow. Baedora, the endless woe. Primorn, the false father. Nexia, the shattered. Jarkero, the beast. Yulgul, the abyssal watcher. And Zarnam, the wandering serpent. Until now, the Nine had believed themselves to be the true inheritors of this jumbled dimension. However, with the arrival of the Curator and the knowledge she bared, their delusions of grandiose superiority were swiftly shattered. She told them of the Pale Worm, their oldest brother, a creature both so immensely powerful and unstoppable. He was a beast who would one day destroy the universe, down to the last atom. The children of the cosmos were no longer maggots, and so could not burrow into reality to escape this fate. They knew that if their deranged brother was not stopped, then one day their only existence would be to forever flee from their older brother, as he thoughtlessly pursued them through an endless sea of nothingness, until the final moment where he finally devoured them. Anivar, the wisest and most calculated of the children, gazed out towards the finite cosmos and contemplated this bleak future. She could not allow her siblings to be damned to endure such a fate. She imagined infinite futures through infinite passages, yet only a single possibility would ultimately provide a chance for the eternal prosperity of her chaotic siblings. Anivar looked sorrowfully towards the Curator. Though much time had passed since the Curator nurtured them as maggots, Anivar had remembered her warmly. It was due to these beloved memories that the next decision would be near impossible. The 10 celestial creatures drifted towards the resounding echoes of destruction in search of the Pale Worm. In time, he was found, and a condemning reunion of siblings commenced. The 9 looked upon their older brother, and a deep sense of despair and insecurity filled each of their hearts. His size alone was scarcely comprehensible, stretching effortlessly across thousands of solar systems. The children watched as he collapsed upon another star, appearing to be unconsciously drawn to the comforting heat. Within moments, the blanketing corruption of his rotted corpse caused an irresistible shift in gravity and a rapid consumption of the star's energy. The star collapsed upon itself, and a supernova erupted, obliterating the surrounding planets and moons of the solar system and sending a cosmic shockwave tearing across the galaxy. The Pale Worm did not even flinch from the apocalyptic experience, nor did he notice the presence of his kin, for he remained a rejected stillbirth, incapable of thoughts or feelings or consciousness. It was this tragic fact that had inspired Anivar. When the primordial maggots were first hatched, they were near mindless and without complex thought. They savoured only unending flesh, and it was not until the feast of creation that they could begin to control their instinctive urges and comprehend reason. It was true that each had inherited a portion of the sacrifice at birth, though a single shred of sentience spread between hundreds could scarcely nurture reason. Anivar mused upon this fact, then looked upon the remnants of her mother, the curator, the final shard of the universal womb. Echoes of Aniva's consciousness invaded the thoughts of each of her kin, as they were all enlightened to her desperate solution. The pale worm must consume the curator. It is only then that he may comprehend reason, and in doing so, cease his endless destruction of the cosmos. Though the children could be savage and cruel creatures, each still held enduring love for the curator, and would each enter a deep depression as they experienced premature grief. Nevertheless, reality must endure, and soon they entered communion with their shattered mother to share their tragic plan. The curator, seeing the calculated reason of her children, agreed without reluctance. She was proud of their determination to exist, though in honesty she did not want to die. She had allowed herself to believe in a future where she could continue to watch her children grow and thrive, a future where she could bear witness to the amazing realities they would sculpt. Tears ran from her hallowed eyes and down her serpentine body. This future would not come to pass, and so it was. The curator drifted towards the great maw of the pale worm and allowed herself to be devoured. Sentience surged through the galactic entity, and within moments, the pale worm halted his ruinous advance. For the first time since hatching, the beast found fleeting rest. His immense head began to turn as he now sensed the presence of his remaining kin. Of all the children to make first contact, Slurma, the Crimson Queen, reached her stale appendage forward, simultaneously growing a noxious horn from her forehead that mirrored the one possessed by the pale worm, in a feeble effort to show kinship and unity. The others desperately joined in communion, yet through all of their praise and pleads, only one resounding response echoed from the cosmic worm. He wanted to cease existing. The pale worm waited motionlessly for a reply from his kin. It would appear that the recent inheritance of sentience brought naught but the realization of the truth of his tragic existence. He was sad and alone. He had caused so much pain and suffering, so much death and decay, millions of galaxies destroyed, and uncountable lives lost to his mindless rampage through the cosmos. And even with all the pain and sorrow that overwhelmed him, a depraved instinct to continue his destructive wake gripped him. There was no other ambition that he held, no other love that inspired him. He simply wanted his existence to end, though if this could not be achieved, then his broken body would continue its uncontrollable search for the warmth of stars. The children, shocked and saddened by their brother's harrowing circumstance, were left speechless. The pale worm waited for a response, but when he sensed the hesitation of his brothers and sisters, he soon realized that they lacked the power to fulfill his desire. He was too grand, and they were too weak. He wished only for true non-existence. Every atom of his being is cast from reality, so that no more must suffer from his journey. If he was not stopped, then he would one day be the only remaining entity in the universe, just as his mother once was. He would forever wander nothingness, always cold, always lonely, always sad. The children were not strong enough, and in learning so, with great sadness in his rotting heart, the pale worm turned to continue his cosmic massacre. Aniva, with all of her divine wisdom, called out to her departing brother. He halted, resisting the instinctive pull of his grand body. With a considerable strain, he turned his head to face her once more. With great shame, she admitted that they were too weak to find a solution to his forlorn situation. However, she pleaded for more time so that her siblings may find a way to nurture the strength to achieve his desire. Though to accomplish this impossibility, 2 divine commandments must be agreed upon. The first is that the pale worm slows his advance as far as he is able, thus allowing more time to scry the laws of reality for an answer. The second was that a sanctuary for the children must be founded and respected. A planet teeming with ambitious life in which the children can harness energy and knowledge from, without fear of sudden destruction and the cataclysmic loss of progress. A haven which will remain shining even when all other lights in the universe are extinguished. A place that the pale worm must concur to be his final destination when there is nothing else left to destroy. The pale worm, feeling a faint ember of hope, agreed to these conditions. The only choice that remained was the location of this sanctuary. Of the billions of trillions of stars that still remained, the children would need to decide where they would remain. As with all decisions, the children came together in warm communion with each other. They had all journeyed as one and seen countless wonders on their travels. However, through all the splendor and inspiration in the universe, one place emerged above the others, a place where the beauty of disparity reigned supreme, a place of chaotic life and terrible loss, of creation and stagnation, of creativity and cruelty, a place whose mortals held ambitions that rivaled even themselves, the green and blue wonder of disparate creation, the planet Earth.